My name is Witness Kozanayi. I'm from Zimbabwe, a former student at UCT. In Zimbabwe, I'm working at the Marondo University of Agricultural Sciences and Technology. I am currently doing research in agroecology and as a form of regenerative agriculture. I also do a bit of work on agroecology with the communities in Zambia as part of a regional program called Seed and Knowledge Initiative. It's awesome working with smallholder farmers. They have a lot of experience, a lot of experience on traditional farming. I also work on the governance of forest resources, in particular non-timber forest products. And by non-timber forest products, I mean anything that you harvest from the forest other than timber, fruits, leaves, roots, you name it. And my journey has taken many turns, but I think by and large, I ended up working in this space because of my background where I grew up. I grew up in the eastern part of Zimbabwe in the rural areas where farming was a way of life. When we grew up, we were surrounded, we were bountiful forest products, fruits, you name it. But over time, things have changed. We now suddenly see incidents of commodification of forest products, and related to that, you have conflicts arising because people are competing for whatever natural resources there are, in the community. For my PhD, I focused on 9 timber forest products, the baobab tree to be more specific. It's not just wonderful because of its sheer size, but what it offers in terms of goods and services, the fruits, superfood. There's traditionally it has been a source of food for local people, used in various ways, in smoke, in porridge, in seed. You can process into various products, including what we call coffee, baobab coffee. Then, lately there has been a big market for baobab pulp in Europe, in the Western world. I think first and foremost, whenever someone does research, the ultimate goal is to influence either policy or practice to make a dent, in people's lives. And I'm no exception. That's my intention. Through participatory action research, we are building the capacity of farmers to be able to carry out research on their felt needs, on issues that affected them. So, build capacity of farmers through training, giving them prerequisite skills on how to do research. We also give them the space to do the research themselves. The mapping we've used extensively with a group of farmers in Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi, whereby farmers do map the status of seeds and nutrition in their communities. There are some seeds that are now extinct for various reasons, and then from that they take corrective action, remedial action, to bring back the seeds. In some communities, we've seen farmers making bold steps to bring back lost seed. When you look at the nature of problems that the whole wide world is grappling with, these are complex problems that are multi-layered, connected in different ways, and it would be naive to think that there is one solution. You can use one discipline or one method to resolve this problem. You have to interdisciplinary teams, and you also need to use different knowledge systems. Often the default position is that Western science solves all the problems, but that's not the case. You also need to tap into indigenous knowledge. I think it's wrong to assume that indigenous knowledge is robust enough or complicated enough to deal with the nature of problems that we are having. Climate change, for example, though I don't work that much in that space, but it's such a complex issue that requires different knowledges to understand and resolve. Positionality is such a complex animal. For me in particular, I continue to do research in an area where I grew up, and I obviously have my own biases, on the over years of living in these communities. I still struggle with that, but I think what is helping is that before I do any work, I write down my supposition about issues. I think people are behaving this way, because of these factors. Then when I go out and do research, I gather information, then I come back and really have a look at my suppositions. So it's actually a good learning point for me because I reflect and unlearn certain perceptions that I had about myself. The research space is changing in profound ways, and we need to open up the space to accommodate new and probably not so familiar faces like your farmers. For a long time, farmers have been engaged in research, just as subjects of research. But these days, we need to give them space as well as part of broader, for a broader scheme to decolonize the research.